time to hack the crisis.
Welcome to the Information Helpline 11313. You are number 29 in line. If you have any questions, you can ask them to me. I am a digital assistant with some knowledge about the coronavirus.
Oh, okay. So when can I bring my child back to school after being sick?
Children who have been symptom-free for 48 hours can go back to school.
So what if he's still occasionally coughing?
There is no problem as long as the fever has been gone for 48 hours.
Thanks.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that was all. So what if he's still occasionally coughing?
For this question you will need to talk to a human agent. You are now number 14 in line.
Hello?
Sorry I lost you. Did you mean to hang up?
Oh no, I would like to stay in the queue.
You are now number 13 in line. In the meanwhile, is there anything else I can help you with?
Oh yes, is there any way to know if you've had the coronavirus?
Currently there are no self-tests that we recommend. Do you want me to notify you when we have any suggestions?
Yes, please.
I will call you back as soon as we have any new information regarding self-testing of COVID-19. A human agent is now ready to talk to you. Hold on.
Hello, you had a question regarding symptoms after sickness.
Let's write our own code. Time to hack the crisis.
In today's session, we will dive into the technology behind Qbert, especially the part where we are using Watson Discovery to extract relevant information from an unstructured content and feed it back to the user as answers to questions. And we are doing that by integrating it with TDM, which is Talkamatic's dialog manager. So a key aspect of this solution is that it enables users to get relevant and primarily up-to-date answers to questions about the virus. As you know, COVID-19, knowledge about that virus accumulates over time as we learn more about it, and also policies and recommendations change over time. So it's important that the users get relevant answers. And this poses a challenge for the development and maintenance of digital assistants that deal with this virus, or anything where answers need to change over time and new questions need to be kind of supported by the solution. And we approach this problem by eliminating the need for lots of handcrafting that is typically required when developing these kinds of digital assistants. Such handcrafting can involve creating training data for natural language understanding, for example. And we approach that by using Watson Discovery to extract the relevant information from unstructured content. And this way we can streamline the process, and we can have questions and answers that stay in sync with the unstructured content. For example, content that we can get from a web page. So we will look at in this session we will use one of EU's agencies' web pages as that source of data. So here is this web page from the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, which is an agency of the EU. So they have a Q&A on the COVID-19 virus, and it has around 40 questions and answers. For example, what is the mode of transmission? How easily does the virus spread? When is a person infectious, and so on. So now I will now show you how we can feed this unstructured content into Watson Discovery to extract structure and data from it. So here we see something called Smart Document Understanding, where Watson Discovery learns from examples how to find the relevant data. So here I help Watson Discovery by showing that this is a question, here's another question, and another question, and so on. Here's an answer. Here's another answer. Another answer. So on. We proceed then to the next page. As you can see, Watson Discovery is already learning from the examples in the previous page. And there are a few mistakes. I will correct them. Like that. And here was a trailing line, which I correct for the question. And importantly, you only need to do this once for any kind of content. So the next time this web page is updated, Watson Discovery will automatically extract the relevant data from it without having to be retrained. Okay, so this normally takes just a few minutes. So now let's look at what data Watson Discovery has extracted. I apply the changes. We go to the overview. Here we can see that Watson Discovery has extracted 43 documents, and each document contains a question and an answer. Let's see. If we go down here, we see some examples of questions. Am I at risk of contracting COVID-19 infection in the EU, and so on. Here are some examples of answers. So it looks like Watson Discovery has done the job quite well. So now let's try to integrate this with TDM. And that's actually very simple. We need a few details from Watson Discovery. We find them over here in the overview. The collection ID and the environment ID. We take the collection ID and we go into, here is a Kubernetes configuration file for TDM. And here you can see that we have the Watson Discovery environment ID and collection ID, and we put them here. That's basically all you need to do. We do one more thing. We add a greeting that the system utters when the conversation starts. And we do that in what's called the dialog domain description. So here is an XML file for the English parts of the solution. This is, for now, an English-only solution. Here we have the greeting, which says, hello, I can help you with questions regarding the new coronavirus and the COVID-19 disease. So that's it. So now let's try this out. So my colleague Andreas will call this system and ask a few questions about the virus.
Hello, I can help you with questions regarding the new coronavirus and the COVID-19 disease.
What should I do if I had close contact with someone who was infected?
Notify public health authorities in your area who will provide guidance on further steps to take. If you develop any symptoms, you should immediately call your healthcare provider for advice, mentioning that you have been in contact with someone with COVID-19.
Is it safe to travel by plane right now?
If it is established that a COVID-19 case has been on an airplane, other passengers who were at risk, as defined by how near they were seated to the infected passenger, will be contacted by public health authorities. Should you have questions about a flight you have taken, please contact your local health authority for advice. The risk of being infected on an airplane cannot be excluded, but is currently considered to be low for an individual traveler. The risk of being infected in an airport is similar to that of any other place where many people gather.
How up-to-date is that information?
The information was last updated March 30th, 2020.
Where does the information come from?
The information comes from the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control.
Talkamatic, at your service.
So as you have seen in this example, the solution enables users to not only get answers to questions that they ask about COVID-19, but also to ask follow-up questions, for example, what the source of the information is and when the information was last updated. And this is one of the values of dialog, is that there is a dialog context, and when you say something, it means something in that context. And this is also one of the strengths of TDM, that it can handle dialog context and dialog history and make sense of what the user says in the context. What we have shown so far is a kind of voice-only interaction. One can also imagine a multimodal kind of interaction that also involves a screen or just text, for example. But I would like to emphasize that this is one of the strengths of the solution that we have sketched here, is that it actually works when there is only voice as an available modality. And this is the case, for example, for telephony-based services. When you are calling a number, you can only have voice as a means of interaction. And also in the case of in-vehicle interaction while driving, it may not be so suitable to use the screen, as it can distract you from the driving. So there are various kinds of situations where eyes or hands cannot or should not be used, and in those cases it's very useful to have a solution that works with only voice. Also, in the examples that we have shown so far, we have focused entirely on COVID-19 as a use case, but this technical solution works for almost any kind of content. You can, for example, imagine a similar solution for an FAQ, or for something within customer service, or for manuals. And we would now like to show a scenario of something revolving around getting answers and instructions from a manual with the same technical approach. Here we imagine that my colleague Andreas has a problem with his car and he needs to replace one of his light bulbs in the car.
I need to replace my left low beam.
Okay, in the manual there's a section called Replacing the Low Beam Headlight Bulbs. The low beam bulbs in the halogen headlights can be changed without the help of a workshop.
Okay, good. So how can I do that?
First, remove the round low beam rubber cover from the headlight housing.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm done.
Now, remove the connector from the bulb.
Yes, well, now it's done.
Remove the bulb by pressing it slightly upward and then pulling it out.
Oh, sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure, remove the bulb by pressing it slightly upward and then pulling it out.
Talkamatic, at your service.